Hi everyone, my name is Shannon Bellum. I'm knitting today. I got a little things to chat about with you. I have a few things. I made a list, actually. There's a few things that have been on my mind which I would like to share with you and I would like to talk with you about. So I thought I might maybe knit a little bit to just sort of help me concentrate. It helps me concentrate when I knit. I knit a lot at work. It helps me from when I'm grading papers on my computer. Knitting helps me from flicking away, like clicking on a different browser or whatever, just to get away from the tedium of reading some students' writing. This is a podcast about Welcome to Whiskey and Wool. If you're a new viewer, I hope I have some new viewers. And welcome back, my returning viewers. I adore you. And I'm glad that you keep coming back to hear more from me. I'm going to talk to you today about my knitting projects, and I have, I have a couple spinning projects, and I have a little bit of stash acquisition. Definitely, I just realized I forgot something, so I'm going to have to stop at some point mid demonstration, but you won't even know because I'm going to splice it together and it will look great. This might be a long one because I want to just first talk about some stuff about about Ravelry's ban. I think I would be remiss to not talk about it, so I want to talk about it. Do I want to jump right into that? Yeah, let's just jump right into it. I get that maybe it's been super exhausting for you, and if you have been exhausted by reading what's going on, particularly if you're one of the marginalized groups, a member of a marginalized group like the BIPOC or LGBTQ plus groups, I understand if you don't want to listen to this and you just tuned in for some happy stuff about fiber and knitting and just don't want to hear someone else talking about it. I'll put on screen right now where to skip ahead to. But if you want to stick it, if you're here now, you're here because you want to hear what I have to say about it. I don't have a lot. I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds on it because there's a lot of stuff that you could read yourself. I did want to share with you where to find out more. So if you're wondering how a lot of the news that was written, it got a lot of news coverage. It was in the Washington Post, it was in the New York Times, it was on the BBC, it was on CNN, it was on Fox News, it was everywhere. And most of the stories told the same old story about, the ban, and that it was a ban on any pro-Trump discussions. It's not a ban on Trump supporters, it's just a ban on Trump discussions. So if you want to know more and you're on Ravelry, you're a member of Ravelry. They're not accepting any new members now. So if you're not a member of Ravelry, then you're sorry, SOL. Yikes. I can try to explain to you maybe not in a comment, but maybe on a private email if you want to know what happened. I can explain to you if you're not a member of Ravelry. But if you are a member of Ravelry, the place to find out what happened is on the For Love of Ravelry forum, because they archive everything. They've archived every discussion. You can see there's 600 pages of discussions because Ravelry's been a website since 2007. So you can just scroll back to discussion forums on that For Love of Ravelry forum. Just go back to discussions that predate June 23rd, and you could read all about what happened and what prompted this. And what you're going to find is that a lot of marginalized people that are members of marginalized group in the knitting community and just in society at large too brought to the owner's attention some really egregious activity that was going on. So it became important for them to put the kibosh on it in order for the marginalized communities to feel included. And that's why they did it. They didn't do it because they're taking a political stand or anything like that. It was really all about hate speech and white supremacy and just trying to tone that down. And I support them. So if you know me, if you're a returning viewer, you know, should not be a surprise that I support them. I support the fact that they are protecting groups that get an undue amount of hate and an undue amount of venom put in their direction, and that they're often dismissed and not heard because of the color of their skin or because of their gender identity. I'm not down with that. I'm not down with that at all. There's no such thing as equality. It exists, but it doesn't exist among people. I wish it did. It should. It's ideal, but it doesn't. It's not reality, unfortunately. So I do what I can. In my day job, I'm a very active ally for marginalized groups. Intersectionality of people means that people are members of multiple groups. That's like the shorthand version of that. So if you've ever heard the term intersectionality and you're wondering what it means, that's what it means. I'm drinking seltzer. It's really hot today. My ice melted. I love this little skull cup. Glass, rather. Because woo boy, this week on Instagram, wow. In January, when everything broke about, the sort of uncovering of racist in our community, in the knitting community, in the crafting community, and how a lot of people were surprised and shocked about it. At that point, I hadn't encountered blatant white supremacy. I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. I believe that it existed. I didn't disbelieve it, but I hadn't seen it. I hadn't heard it. People were very good about keeping it under wraps until this ban. Wow. So it was super interesting to read this week about what people's views were on the ban and how offended people got. Talk about outing yourself as a supremacist or a racist. I have to say this too, and remember, I'm an educator. I'm a university professor, so I always look for the teachable moments, and maybe you won't appreciate this because you don't want to learn, because there's another saying which I fully believe, like, when you're ready to learn something, a teacher appears. But I also believe, like, I know this about my students, like, when I tell them, when I'm explaining something, like, that's kind of a wild and far out concept for them, and it just depends on who they are. Like almost every class I'm talking about things that are controversial, and I'm explaining things, and I know about a third of them are buying it. I know about a third of them are kind of buying it, and a third of them are just like, mm-mm. But the ones that I always say, mm-mm, I always think, well, at least they're going to remember that I said this, and perhaps down the road a few weeks or a few months or a few years from now, it will resonate. So I'm going to say this to you all too, because maybe if you're one of these people who have said this to yourself this past week, this may resonate. If not today, maybe some other time. If you're quitting Ravelry, or you quit Ravelry because of what you perceive as censorship, you need to just stop. People being censored are people spewing hate speech. And if you're quitting because you're seeing, or you're mad, or you're angry, or maybe you're considering quitting because they named Trump as a white supremacist, and you don't see that, it's important for you to really peel back the layers on why it is you don't see it, because it's real. This is something that you don't get an opinion about. Because let me tell you something about an opinion. An opinion is something that cannot be proven. An opinion is only something that cannot be proven. Like, the sky is pretty. No one can prove that the sky is pretty. You can agree, or you can disagree. That's an opinion. But the fact is that Donald Trump has done some things that prove he's a white supremacist and a racist. So you don't get an opinion on that. It's proven. It's proven. I'm going to link in my show notes the rpg.net site and the page on their site where they talk about their own no Trump discussion policy. Because the only reason I'm linking it is because there is specific evidence of the issues with our sitting president, and that every citizen of this country should be looking at and be questioning. And no, I'm going to say this too, like, no president is perfect. They all had their issues. This one has his issues. And you hope for the best when you cast your vote. And if you voted for him and you're ashamed, then, I don't blame you. Like, you hoped for the best. And if you voted for him and you're still proud, awesome, good for you. Like, he's obviously doing some good stuff for you. But he's doing a lot of harm to other people. And that's important to recognize as well. And there's nothing wrong with saying, stating your position, but to be angry at me or at anyone else because we don't like him, stop. Just stop. There were a lot of people that hated Obama. I loved Obama. Thought he was an awesome president. I think he'll go down in history as our best president. This guy is going down as the worst president. We can disagree on those qualitative words. So you can disagree on whether or not you think Obama was the best president, and you can disagree on whether or not you think Trump will be the worst president. We can disagree on those qualifiers. We can disagree on those. That's an opinion. Let the facts show their track record, right? So that's, yeah. I also just want to acknowledge that the marginalized folks on our community and our knitting community did so much heavy lifting to get us to this point, and they should be commended and acknowledged. And people like me, if you're a white cisgender hetero person, you really should step up and shield them, stand with them, support them, support the work. That's what being a good ally is. I can also share some information about allyship. I know there's a really awesome I think I have it on my work computer. There's a really awesome thing about what it is to be a good ally and like the different levels of racism. So let me see if I can somehow share that. If I can, I'll put it in my show notes, like if there's a website that has it. If I can't, then maybe, I don't know, I'll figure it out. I gotta think about how I can do that. Because that could be useful. That might be useful if you're interested in becoming an ally. There's a bunch of different levels of allyship. So I can share that. It's important though. It's super, super important that we don't step back, that we step forward, and that we lean into this. Both our own shortcomings as well as like how to be a supportive factor. All right, wow, 20 minutes in. 20 minutes in. Let me do a little talk about knitting. I have a couple other like non-political things to talk about. I'm gonna just kind of interweave into my discussion about knitting. I'm gonna put down this new cast on. Put that down and talk to you about my FOs. And Martha is wearing one of my works in progress. That didn't get a lot of work this past couple weeks. But I have two FOs on. I am wearing the Ripple Bralette by Jessie Mae Martinson of Jessie Mae Design. She's a really interesting person. I think she is the designer to watch. The designer to watch. If Caitlin Hunter was the designer to watch 2 years ago, it is now Jessie Mae. Jessie Mae Martinson. She goes by Jessie Made on Ravelry and on Instagram. And I think she's a genius. I think she's onto something, and I think she's busting out patterns that are really cool and fun to knit and fun to wear. So the Ripple Bralette is what I have on underneath. I'm going to flash a picture on screen of, I'm not going to do I don't like to stand up and do a little dance in front of the camera. So I'm going to put a picture on screen of me in the top in just the bralette, and then I'll put another picture, a series of pictures of me wearing the Breeze Racerback tee. I just love it. Look at it. Look at how cool the back is. Oh my goodness. I said I wasn't going to dance in front of the camera, but I did. I just love it. You know what I love the most? Like, there are so many cool things about both of these patterns. One is that there are no sleeves. They're one skein or less. So the bralette that I made out of, let's talk about the bralette first. I made it out of Maker's Haven yellow dresses. So it's this gorgeous little like butter yellow with flecks of purple and interesting cool shading of this, like, it looks like a grubby yellow. It's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. My boyfriend loves yellow, so I think I've said this a gazillion times on other episodes. So he loves me in yellow. He doesn't love yellow. He likes to see me in yellow. So I made it with him in mind. I chose the color with him in mind. The entire skein was 400 yards and 100 grams, and I used for my bralette, I used 300 yards. So I used 3/4 of the skein. So that's one thing that I loved about this, that it was under a skein. I was easily able to knit a skein. I made a lot of modifications on the bralette, which let me talk to you about now. She's very size inclusive, Jessie Mae Martinson. Very, very size inclusive. So her sizes go from extra small all the way to a 5XL. And if you search the project page, you'll see her project page for this pattern. You'll see many sized, all different sized women in this garment. The chest measurement for the 5XL, if you're curious, is 51 inches. So it's really great. Like, it encompasses a lot of sizes, and is that flat? Wait a minute. Note measurements taken in unstretched. A and C are total circumference. Yeah. The small measurement, extra small measurement is 19. So that's a circumference. Oh, sorry. That's the rib band. C, which would be the chest. It's 21. I see total circumference. Yeah. So from 21 inches to 53. And it is a rib. It is a ribbing. You can see. I think you can see on mine. You can see like the ribbing. It's a 3x3 rib pattern. And so, okay, I did mods because I've talked to you many times about my oversized chest. And I took a look at those measurements and I was like, well, around the band, I'm a size small, but around the So down here, I'm a size small, but up here, across my widest bust, I am either a large or an extra large. And I had read a couple people had done some mods where they cast on one size band and they increased to get up to the broader bust measurement that they needed. So I was like, yeah, okay, I think I'm going to do that. So I went ahead and cast on the size small band for around my ribs. I took notes on so there's going to be a little rustling of paper. I took notes on the pattern, though you can also find these notes on my project page, so don't try to keep track here. I decided to knit the band. She recommended for a size small band that it was only 1.25 inches. I knit 2.5 inches because I was noticing that some of the bigger busted women, the ribbing or band was hiking up the along the underbreast, and I wanted the band to sit squarely around my rib cage. So I decided to do a bigger band. And then when I got finished with the 1x1 rib, I think it's a twisted rib too. I then increased in such a way that the back of the bralette became a size medium and the front of the bralette became, I think, a size extra large. No, size large. Size, yeah. Extra large. No, extra large, sorry. So the back is a medium and then the front is a size extra large. And that way I got the volume that I needed for the front, because if you see, like, I have a very small back, but I have like a very large front. So I wanted the pattern to fit me better. I wanted it to encompass the distance that I have off my rib cage in the front, and then also fit me pretty nicely in the back. I am so happy with the mods that I made and the way that this fits. I'm really, really, really happy about it. After that, I didn't do any other mods, I don't think. So that was it. I just did those increases. Oh, the other mod I did was the distance. So from the ribbing to where you get this first drop, I knit a whole lot more. So for the size, I mean, who knows what size I was making. Was I making a small, a medium, or an extra large? So even for the extra large, the distance that was recommended was not what I had. I went 1 inch more, I think, than what they recommended. So, or what she recommended. So she said, yeah, I actually only did a 1/2 inch more, and then I knit a little bit more again. So total, I was probably like 3/4 inches over the recommended length, I needed the length to get the ribbing to go up and over this distance here, and then from there up I followed the pattern. So I completely followed the decreases and stuff. And the straps were a little frustrating because if you're working with a superwash, indie dyed superwash merino, superwash grows when you wash it, when you soak it and block it. So I wasn't sure how much growth I was going to get, so I tried to guess, and I ended up having to, after I blocked it, rip out about 2 inches of what I had knit, which was no big deal. So yeah, I don't know if there's a workaround for that. Maybe. I mean, I'm going to make more, so I'll try some different stuff. I will probably I'll try some different stuff with the straps to try to make them work. I think I maybe hit upon the inches that it should be if I get the same amount of stretch, but who knows if you get the same amount of stretch. I mean, this Yellow Dresses was an 80-20 blend, and I still got a lot of stretch on the straps. So, but I think I'm going to do like a couple scrappy versions, and I'm definitely making some of these, both this combo, the bralette and the racerback, the Breeze racerback. I'm making this combo as Christmas gifts for some of the women in my lives because I just think it's awesome. And it's just, the other thing that's so awesome about it is that it's a wonderful way to use up a single skein. So the Breeze racerback, I don't have the pattern here. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I have the pattern. I only used exactly... Okay, so now talking about this garment here. This is the Breeze Racerback Civility. Looks like this. I'm going to put a picture on screen instead of this very faded black and white picture. The thing with this, for my size, I did a medium. She said the yardage should be 550 yards. I only needed 400, so I used one full skein. In fact, I'll show you what I have left, minus the swatch. I still have the swatch, I think, over there somewhere. I used for this Garn Stories, and I used some older stash. This is at least 2 years old. It's been sitting in my stash for a couple years. I think this might be the first skein of Garn Story that I ever bought. It is a 100% new wool merino superwash, 400 meters, 100 grams. So 400 meters, it's actually more than 400 yards. So I probably had, I'd have to look. I think I have, that would mean about 430 yards maybe. This is all I have left, this little dab here. I love how the speckles, like you can see it here, it was heavily speckled on one side of the skein and not so heavily speckled on the other, so you see the speckles fading out. And also what the yarn did was that it self-striped, which I also thought was really cool. Unexpected, but cool. It stopped self-striping as well once I split, because you knit each side alone, separately, so it stopped self-striping there. But anyway, nevertheless, this was a one skein project for my size. And again, I made the medium, which the medium was meant to fit a bust measurement of 36 to 38. I'm a 39. So I kind of was like, what am I doing? The actual bust measurement of the finished garment is supposed to be 44.5. So that gave me about 5 inches of ease, which I thought was plenty. I didn't think I needed to go up to the 40, 42. So I was in between her sizing, so I could either be a medium or a large, which is like the story of my life. Like practically every store-bought commercial garment, I am in between medium and large. Some of them I'm medium, some of them I'm large. It really just depends on what sort of fit I want versus also what where they make the break point on the sizing. So yeah, I absolutely love it. I have already cast on another, which I'm going to talk to you about. I may as well just talk to you about it now. It was what I was knitting on. Because as soon as I figured out it was a one skein project, I was like, what? I have so many single skeins that are gorgeous. But I really thought, this is a skein I've had for a long, long time. It is 3 Irish Girls Yarn Company. Also, I've had this quite a while. This is their Adorn Luxe. It was new back in the day, and it's called Sexy MF, which I think means motherfucker. Anyway, there you go. I just thought it was so pretty. And with this bright sort of Club Tropicana color that Garn Story made, this like bright turquoisey color, I just thought maybe a dark one would be nice to have. Because in the mornings, I live with a lot of people. In the mornings, I like to go down and get coffee as soon as I can, and sometimes my pajamas are a little revealing, so I could throw this on over my pajamas and look decent. So, but I have just started it, so I started it early this morning, and I haven't knit much. I have just the ribbing started, but I really do like, wait, let me move where the markers aren't so you can see. I really like what's happening with the colors. This is like a black, turquoise, orange, and pink, bright orange color. And I really love the way it is working up so far. And yeah, should have this knit in no time. Like this other one, I knit both of these. I knit the bralette in like 3 days without even trying. And the this in a week. Of course, it meant I neglected this, but this is for fall. These are wear now. I'm very comfortable in this 90-degree heat wearing this. Very, very comfortable. Do I owe you anything else about these two? I don't think so. Okay, so these are the two finished objects. The next that I am close to finishing is this right here. I did cast off the body, as you can see on Martha. There's a big gap here because there is a placket that is cool, pretty broad. I think I want to say it's about 1.25 inches that goes along here. This is the, I haven't told you about the pattern, huh? Put a picture on screen. This is the Alice cardigan by Isabel Kramer, who is a proud supporter of no hate speech. I was happy that most of the people that I like, whose work I like, came out against the hate speech stuff. So that was cool. Yeah, so I need to do the sleeves next, and then I will do the front collar, then front placket. So I'm really in the home stretch. If I weren't knitting these other wear now things, I could have finished this week. This would have been like doing sleeves. I can usually get sleeves done in a couple days, a couple nights of like knitting on the sofa. The sleeve, I think, has another cable detail. I think what she intended was that the cable detail go down the underarm. I'm going to skip it because I want to knit fast and be done with this garment. And I don't raise my hand much, so no one's going to see that cable under my arm. So I don't really see the value in it. There's a lot of other cute details. There's a lot going on this cardigan, so I don't really think I need to have that as well. Made progress on this piece too, because this is also, like, I perceive it as wear now. It is My Boy Lollipop by Nancy Ritchie. She came out with this in I want to say April or so, and I had not planned to knit it, but I was so happy with how my As If Tee by Shay Johnson came out, which as a crop sweater, and I liked the wearability of it. I decided that I would like another short sleeved summery, springy sweater to wear. And yeah, sorry, itchy nose from yarn. So I showed this, I think, 2 episodes ago. I am knitting it out of my own hand spun. It's a 2-ply hand spun that I made from a bat that I got from Spin City, UK. So Spin City, I saw them at Edinburgh, and I didn't buy any fiber. I was like, oh, fiber, I'm not spinning. And then I became a spinner in May, and I decided that, yes, I did want some Spin City. So I ordered a couple bats from her. Did I order a couple? I think I ordered this and a drop spindle. That's right. Because I knew I was planning to learn how to drop spindle. So I wanted to make sure I had some yarn that I really love, or some fiber that I really loved to practice with. And so this one is called Mermaid. It's one of her regular colors. It's these beautiful shades of green and turquoise and purple that you can see here. So I did a 2-ply. This was probably the 3rd skein, maybe 2nd skein of yarn that I made in my life. So it came out to a DK weight once I plied it, and it fit the gauge perfectly. The problem was that I knit, this is a sweater that takes about 500 to 600 yards of yarn, and I only had about 300 with my first skein. So I was looking at my indie dyed stash, and I had a couple colors in mind. That one was like this turquoisey blue, just tonal turquoisey blue, that I could finish the rest of the sweater in. And I thought, I don't mind it being like, because it was going all the way down to like under my bra line with this first color, so then it's just finishing, you know, this last like 6 inches or so in another color. So I thought that makes sense, like that'll work. And as I was like circling around which one to use, I realized that I should just get another bat and just spin another bat to go with, you know, to finish this sweater. So that's what I did. I got another bat, and the bat that came was, I already spun it. The bat that came was darker than my original bat. So it has some of the similar colors, but the turquoise is deeper and the purple is deeper. The green is the same. The green is like very bright and limey. But the burgundy is the same. So you see that burgundy stripe right there? So that burgundy color and these green colors are the same. I've knit a bunch. I've knit a little bit, so you can see the difference right here. So the changeover happens somewhere like right around here. So you can see that the blue is deeper and the green is the same, and there is some of that deep burgundy color in the middle there. And the white is popping through too. I actually thought maybe this was a heavier white batch, which I didn't mind because I thought maybe by spinning the white in with the darker blue that might lighten it a bit. But I don't know, you can see a line if I hold it back here. You can see the line happening like somewhere right in here, the transition. But I don't mind it. I actually think it's fine. And it also turns out that because I'm a new spinner, I'm a little new. I'm a little inconsistent. So this one was spun up much thinner, not much thinner, but a little bit thinner than the original, which is to be expected. Like as you get more experience, you spin a little. You're better. You gain better control, right? So you're also I think when you're beginning to spin, you're nervous about the fibers breaking and the yarn breaking as you pull out the fibers, so you tend to pull more, and then you get a little more confident and you pull less fiber. And I think that's just what happened for me with this. I actually have I have 2 balls of the of the second bat. When I was caking it, I had a breakage, so I just ended up making 2 balls. I don't think I'm going to use it all. I do have to do the arm trim even after I finish the body. I have about 5 more inches of body to knit. Oh, I did do some mods. I am doing a mod, at least one major mod. This pattern is very fitted, as you saw from the picture. So it like is very form fitted, and I liked the shape of the as if tee, where it's like just a box. And it's slightly cropped. This is also a cropped sweater, but I wanted to combine the neckline that Nancy developed and with the straight line cropped body. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not doing any decreases on the body. I'm just knitting straight, and then I'm going to finish off. There's like this seed stitch trim that she has on the neck and that you do on the sleeve. I'm going to do the same thing along the bottom of the body for about 1 inch, where her pattern calls for a couple inches of ribbing, 1 by 1 ribbing, so that it fits you, like it hugs your body. And she also asks you to do, I think it's -2 inches from your body measurement, and I decided to actually go up so that I would again get that more boxy look, but with this beautiful sweetheart neckline that she developed. So I will keep you posted. This should be done by my next podcast, or next episode. I have to get off of saying podcast because this isn't a podcast. A podcast is generally only audio. And you can find audio only podcasts on YouTube, but so I try not to confuse that with that terminology. Yeah, so what else do I have? Works in progress. I think that's it. Yeah. 3 works in progress. Oh, I didn't make any progress on my Like a Cloud, because again, it is more of a fall, late summer, fall, early fall to winter sweater like this one. So those are kind of taking a backseat to things that I can knit up and wear right now. Eventually, like probably around August, I'll start looking ahead to fall, and my knitting will be more fall focused, and I'll start working my way through some of the sweater quantities that I have sitting in front of me. For my Rhinebeck sweater, I'm hoping that Dunder Knit will do the gold along that she's talking about. I do have a sweater's quantity of gold yarn that I have earmarked for a particular sweater pattern. So I am hoping she'll do the gold along, and then that'll be my Rhinebeck sweater. So but my Rhinebeck sweater is definitely going to be something out of some yarn I have on hand. I have 2 quantities of, or I shouldn't even say quantities. I have so wait, let me talk to you about my stash. I want to talk to you about my stash for a minute, since I'm talking about stuff. And then I'm going to talk to you about spinning, because my stash acquisitions are all about spinning lately. So my stash, if you've been watching for a while, for the last year, I'd say I've been very intently focused on buying sweaters quantities and not single skeins. But for shits and giggles, I decided to look at how many single skeins I had. So I counted them up. I have 94 single skeins, 94 single skeins in my stash. And I was surprised by that. That is so much. Oh my goodness. I mean, they're beautiful. Most of them I adore. Some of them I got as gifts, and some of it I didn't pick. I joined a club that you don't know the color till it arrives, which is fun. But wow, 94. So that's enough for my single skein project that I'm wearing. I could make 47 pairs of these out of that, which, wow, that would take me a couple years. I was also figuring out that I could do 33 different shawls with those, mixing those up. And what was my other? Or 33 sweater quantities. Wow. Out of those, because I'm about 3 skeins of single skein, three fingering weight skeins. That's all fingering weight, by the way. 94 fingering weight skeins of indie dyed yarn. So yeah, I have a single skein problem. I need to put more on sale. I'm gonna try Tink Knit. I haven't tried them yet, but I think I'm gonna try them. I also think I'm gonna do some 2-for-1 stuff, like some discounting. My local yarn shop is gonna do a stash party next week, so I don't know if I have time to get it together for her stash party because it's really soon. It's just a few days away. But maybe if I have time, if I can carve out some time, maybe this weekend. And the stash party is pretty cool, like what she's going to do. So my local yarn shop is Knit Tapestry. The owner is Nancy. She's lovely. She lives in my neighborhood. The stash party is you bring in stash that you want to sell. And you give her the price, she gives you a SKU, and then your yarn sits in her shop over a series of days or however long she wants to do it. And if she sells your yarn, you get 90% of what the sale price was. So if you were selling it for $20, you'd get 18, she keeps 2. So it's kind of like on consignment. It's sort of like taking your stash on consignment. So that sounded interesting to me. And she said that if you don't pick it up after a certain amount of time, she donates it. So I may do that. I don't know. I have to look. That 94 skeins, by the way, that I'm telling you I also have a whole nother section. I have a whole nother group of single skeins that are for sale. So they're in my for sale, will trade, will sell tab on Ravelry, and I didn't add those in. So that's a whole nother group. That's probably another 20 or so skeins. So I have really done some serious collecting. It's about $3,000 worth of yarn. Isn't that crazy? I think that's bananas. Of course, it was a collection that built over time. It wasn't something I didn't just go out and blow that much money in 1 month or so or a few weeks. It was like a slow build. So in the meanwhile, I've been collecting sweaters quantities. And in my sweater quantities, I think I calculated I have about 18 or 19 sweater quantities as yet unknit or unstarted. So that's pretty significant too. And now I'm spinning, so now I'm also like sweater quantity, these single skein thing. I have a problem with single skeins. Let me do sweater quantities. So that brings me to my next spinning project. So let me tell you about my next spinning project, or my latest spinning project. So I spun the bat to finish this sweater, to finish my boy lollipop. And while I was waiting for that, I shared this with you on my last episode. This is Countess Ablaze. I didn't know Countess Ablaze makes fiber, so that was super exciting to find out, and I had to purchase some. So I bought this beautiful red and soft aqua blue with these shots of like a limey green in there, Gorgeous, just beautiful. So I bought a sweater's quantity, 14 ounces of this, and as I've gotten better at spinning, I've been able to spin thinner and thinner. And so I decided to spin up one skein, and then I caked it so I could swatch it, because I have to tell you, when I spun this, I was very disappointed. I tried what I would describe as a quasi-fractal method. Quasi only because this is combed top, and fractal normally and it's also like, take that out of the crinkly package. So it's combed top. It also is, if you want to separate the red and blue, you get pretty thin pieces. Like, so if I pulled the red and the blue apart, I would end up with some pretty thin pieces there to spin. So that's what I decided to do. I took one bag. I think they're all 3.5 ounce bags. So I took one bag. I divided by weight. I weighed it out, half over here, half over there. And then I did one bobbin with long strips of the same color. So probably a couple yards of red, a couple yards of blue. I let the white fall wherever it wanted to fall, and I let the green kind of go where it wanted to go too. Mostly the green was with the blue. So I did that. I did long pieces, and then the second half, I did short pieces I was spinning with pieces of fiber that were about this long, but when you spin it, it grows. So I had short sections, long sections. That's fractal spinning. But I wasn't incredibly careful about how I put it together when I plied it. And I could see right away that I had a very red heavy skein. And so this is really red heavy. And I was bummed by that, because I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. Like, this is red heavy. I guess I just thought maybe the blue, that pale aqua, would come through a little stronger, but it was pretty weak. Like, it got watered down. It looks gray in the skein, as you can see here. I did get a little bit of layering, which was what I wanted. Wait, I think you can see it better here. So you can see where I've got, like, in the center there's red, and then here's a stretch of a section that's blue, and then it's a section of red and mixed. And so I did get a little bit of that layering thing, which I really wanted to have happen, but I don't know. So I was really anxious to swatch this so I could get a handle on what it looked like. So I'm going to grab the swatch that's over there. I mean, I guess I hate it less swatched. So there's the swatch. This was, I put yarn over, knit two together to keep track of the needle size. So this is this is a sport weight. It ended up being a sport weight, and this is a size 5 needle, which, and I think the hand of it's quite nice. I mean, the swatch was drying. That was why it was set aside. And I think that the color layout is fine. Maybe I'm going to learn to love red. I don't know. So I was realizing, like, so I showed some skeins last week. Maybe I'll just put a picture here so you can see it, because it's buried over there. I think I have a red problem. So I have this. I don't know if I'd consider this red. This is like kind of a burgundy red. Red is like the color I wear the least. So maybe I'm changing. Maybe I'm going to start wearing red, because I spun that red yarn, the one that I got from Classy Squid, and then I bought this from Countess Ablaze, a sweater's quantity. And I have the yarn, so I mean, I have the fiber. I've made one skein, so I've got 3 more to go. So that's a sweater's quantity, and I don't know, like, I was trying to figure out if I like it or not. Like, so I think about my, I have a sweater that I made, a design, Fun Mary, in red, and I never wear it. And it's not because it's not a good design, it's just because it's red. I just don't wear red. So I don't know how I feel. Maybe there's a market for handspun and I could just sell it to somebody. I have to figure it out. Yeah, not happy, but it is pretty. I mean, Spun up cute. Using the method. I don't know, guys. So, yeah, I don't know. Okay. I bought another bat from Spin City. And look. It's red. It's beautiful though, right? I don't know. I'm anxious to open this up, but I feel like I really need to get through. I'm gonna finish that. I have actually one more skein of my silver fiber to spin, so that'll be my next thing. I'm gonna finish the silver, and then I'm gonna finish this this red from Countess Ablaze, and then I'll work on this. Now, this, I actually have a good reason, and maybe this is why, maybe this might uncover why it is I have bought so much red. I went to see this art show. This is Gerard Richter's art that was at the Shed in New York City. I saw it for Mother's Day. I saw it with my children. I'm going to put a couple pictures that I took on screen right here at the show. Reich is not his first name. Reich is the musician. It was a music and art installation. It was beautiful. Like it was mesmerizing. And Gerard Richter, the painter, loves red. And what he ends up doing to contrast red, the highest contrast to red is green. So he'll put green and red together frequently. And as I was watching the show, I was thinking that, wow, this is really great inspiration, like good color inspiration for knitters and at that time I don't think I was spinning yet. I think my spin class was the next week. I was just thinking it was such great inspiration, and I became obsessed in watching the show with these areas where he was fading a bright red into pink. And I thought that would be really fun to try spinning. So I just couldn't stop thinking about that fade, red to pink, red to pink, red to pink. So when I'm spinning this up, that's the effect I'm going to be looking to do. So I'll keep you posted. I will be able to tell you about this. There is some stellina in there too. So this is just going to be a fun spin. I can see how, I guess the problem that I'm having, the connections that I'm having the connections that I'm having problems making is what I like to spin, what I'm attracted to, and I think will be a fun spin and then imagining that me wearing that. So as soon as I ordered this, I thought, oh my God, that was stupid. I should have gotten 2 bats, because at least I could have made another My Boy Lollipop, or maybe I can make another one of these. I don't know. I got a red problem. That's my red problem. I blame Gerard Richter. Okay, and I think that is it. The last thing that I want to tell you about is that I have a giveaway. So I had told you last time that I was just a couple subscribers away from 500, and I got a couple more subscribers, and I said, if I get 500, I'm gonna do a giveaway. And then the shit hit the fan with the Ravelry ban, and I supported it. I jumped on board right away and said I support the stand that they're taking against hate speech, and I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, so I don't care. There'd never be any pro-Trump vocab from me, so that didn't bother me. I didn't find that offensive. I found it appropriate, actually. So I jumped on that, and I lost a whole bunch of viewers. And I lost subscribers on Instagram to whatever. I have gained some too. You win some, lose some. But I wanted to celebrate us. I wanted to celebrate this community, even if I'm not at 500. So I decided that in lieu of having 94 skeins, I am going to do a 4 skein giveaway. That'll bring me down to 90 skeins. And I put together what I think is a really cool fade. A really cool pink toned fade. So here are the skeins, and some of these are quite special and not hard, and you will not find them anywhere except from other club people. So I want to go through them with you. The The lightest skein I have here is by Teeny Button Studio, Robin of Teeny Button Studio, and it is a Harry Potter color. It was a Harry Potter club color. I think she does dye it from time to time. It's called Frolicking Felines. I love Robin, by the way. She has a podcast called Cherry Pearls. It's really good. I think that might be her mother's handle. I'm not sure. I think she does a podcast with her mother, and I enjoy like listening to them. Her mom does a lot of charity knitting, which I so admire and appreciate. And someday I think I will too do charity knitting. I do other charity work. I don't do charity knitting, not right now anyway. But she's just an all-around amazing, beautiful person, and she makes fantastic Harry Potter colors. So if you are a Harry Potter person and you like Harry Potter colors, she is your girl. She is your yarn dyer. She's my yarn dyer of choice for Harry Potter. I have a bunch of her colors in my single skeins. That I will be. I have two actually of one color. Her color Silver Doe, which was based on Harry Potter's Patronus. So, and those I have bookmarked or queued, so to speak, for a particular sweater that I want to knit at some point. So anyway, this is the lightest color from Teeny Button Studio. Love, love, love her. Then the next one is a special surprise color, number 3, from Garn Story's first surprise color clubs, which I think date back to 2017, maybe early 2017. But look at the pink in that. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. And those black speckles, I love black speckles. But these two would be just beautiful together. I think they just go amazing. The next color is another Garn Story. This is part of her regular color repertoire called Flying Circus. And it picks up the pink as well as sort of still has the beige and brown and black speckles. So I think those 3. And then to top it off, I have this beautiful Air de Lune, which is a Boston-based dyer. She is, Garn Story is in Germany, and Teeny Button Studio is in New Orleans, NOLA. This is called Cherry Blossom Song. This is from last spring, so spring 2017. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous deep pink with red and black speckles, carrying that red and black theme, which just, I think, makes the perfect topper for this fade. You will win this foursome. You can do whatever you like with it. I don't have a pattern in mind for you. What I would like you to do is comment on this video down below and tell me what you would do with them. I don't care if you break them up, if you're going to make 4 pairs of socks, you're going to make a shawl, a fade shawl, or what you're going to do with it. Just tell me what you're thinking. Put some pattern names down there, some shout outs to your favorite designers and patterns. And I will pick a winner before my next podcast out of the comments below. I thought that it would be really cool to just kind of celebrate my existing subscribers, but I am going to be talking about this on Instagram. You do need to hit subscribe if you're a new viewer. You will need to subscribe. So I will be checking to make sure that it goes to a subscriber, a current subscriber. And for you guys, my returning viewers, my lovely little community, I might do a second little something just for you. I'm just going to see how flooded I get with new viewers. I don't think I'm going to get very many, so I probably won't do the second giveaway. But if I do get flooded, who knows? I mean, I'm being supporting the marginalized community members among us. So I am getting a lot of hate right now, but I'm also getting some love. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll be noticed, maybe I won't. We'll see. But I do have I have a second prize that I may just give to, because I know who you are, my regular viewers and commenters. I might just do a little number pull among you all for this second prize. And then for everyone else, I'll do the foreskein. We'll go to a random person. So yeah, that's my thought. Those are my plans and thoughts with the giveaway. I hope you enjoyed watching today. I hope you didn't. I hope you stuck around for the knitting, got through the my political thoughts and rant, I guess. And I hope you come back for more next time. I generally podcast make a channel, record a channel every 2 weeks. So my next one will either be a little early or a little late because I will be away in 2 weeks. I think I mentioned this last time. My dear friend lost his father and he's really struggling. So I have set some weekends up that where I will be with him to just help him through this troubling, tough time. He's one of the marginalized communities too, actually. So he's one of my dearest, closest friends. We met when I was 17. We were both 17, and yeah, he's identifies as gay. So I'm a long time gay LGBTQ ally. Anyway, I love you all, my little community. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you soon. Bye.